Are you suffering from wince face due to an injury? Or maybe from back, muscle, or joint pain? Even if you're unsure what that pain is, the specialists at the Iowa Clinic Bone and Joint Center can help you feel better from head to toe. It's coordinated. It's easy. It's all under one roof. Because no one should have to live in pain or with wince face. Call or visit iowaclinic.com today.
And hello. Give me a second here. All right, here we are. What's going on? Welcome to a little pregame Iowa Clinic Men's Center, bringing us pregame here on the Cyclone Fanatics social media feeds. My name is Chris Williams, joined by Jared Stansbury. The Cyclones will be tipping off against Oklahoma in about 15 minutes from now in Norman. And we've both talked a lot about this game already leading up to it. Jared, I have zero confidence in making a prediction either way. And I feel like it's going to be like this very often in the Big 12, especially on the road this season. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel confident that Iowa State can go down there and play well. Like, I'm confident there is a path to victory for Iowa State.
No doubt.
I think that this Oklahoma team, when you think about what they've got in their backcourt with Grant Sherfield, his ability to score the ball is problematic. You know, especially when you think about what Adam Flagler did to Iowa State on Saturday in the first half of the game. What you saw some of those guys from Iowa were able to do against Iowa State in that game. I mean, you have to have some concern that when they go on the road, you don't know what it's going to be like, how they're going to handle a hostile environment. They did not do well with that the first time around. A guy hits a couple shots, starts to get a little bit loose. I mean, all of a sudden it could turn into a bad night. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that potential to happen does exist. And that's where I think you go into this game, you just don't know what's going to happen, because you know that both of these teams are really good and both of these teams have players that are really good who are capable of giving both teams problems.
Yeah, I feel like matchup-wise, this is one of the better matchups. Mm-hmm. I feel like for Iowa State in the Big 12, when you look at what Oklahoma does well defensively. I mean, they really give up a lot of points in the paint. This feels to me, this is more of an Oshun game than it is maybe a Caleb Grill game as far as offensive goes, and the same can be said for Robert Jones. Probably less Trey King. We just haven't seen a lot
will there be a more electric big man battle in college basketball this year than Robert Jones going up against Tanner Groves, if that's what this comes down to? It's just two big men with long hair going at it.
When you say that out loud, electricity is the first thing that comes to my mind. To me, it feels like Oklahoma's really good analytically against defending the three. This is kind of my angle going into the game. Iowa State probably can't bank on Gabe Kalsher and Caleb Grill hitting 10 threes again. I thought you and Bloom had a really good talk about this in Corner 3 yesterday. I mean, Shun just feels like in games like these in the Big 12, this is where he has to be a difference maker compared to last year with the George Condit, Robert Jones combination.
I mean, him and Jaron both played well when they played against Oklahoma in the NIT last year when they were both at St. Bonaventure. So this is not, for those guys, this is not, you know, obviously Grant Sherfield wasn't on that team last year, but the Groves brothers, I mean, that's not a new challenge for them by any means. The thing that about Oklahoma that I think is so interesting is that they shoot the ball really well. I think they're 9th in the country right now in 3-point percentage, and shooting it just at a really high rate, high efficient rate. But they don't shoot the ball that much. You know, like Grant Sherfield shoots 50% from 3, but he takes 5 a game. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like it will just be interesting if you can keep them from getting hot. They don't shoot threes like that, so it's like this just feels like the kind of game. Does Iowa State need to shoot a bunch of threes?
No,
like I don't feel that they do, and I feel confident too that now, I mean, compared to last year when you had Tyrese Hunter and Isaiah Brockington, and every night it's like, can one of these two guys do something, or then just like by chance there'll be that night that Gabe Kalsher pops off. Yeah. I think you've got 3 guys right now with Gabe Kalsher, Caleb Grill, and Jaron Holmes. That if between those 3 guys, if you can get 2 good games out of the three of them, then you're going to have a good shot, because I think that those guys that are in the front court, none of them are probably going to give you 20, but it's like at this point, we haven't seen a game where Oshun or Robert Jones or Hassan Ward or Trey King. I mean, he only played a couple games, but it's just like there haven't been those nights where those guys aren't giving you anything at all, and that's the difference, I think, from last year. Is last year you had to win or live and die on your guards. And if your guards couldn't give you anything, then it was going to be a long night. This year, they don't have to do that. And that's where I think especially going on the road, you have to feel good about that.
6 o'clock tip, ESPN2. We also have TCU at Baylor tonight in the Big 12. Last night was a fun night. The game in Lubbock was awesome between Kansas and Texas Tech. We are in the heat of the Big 12. And you look ahead to at TCU coming up on Saturday. Boy, you just feel like Iowa State's in a phenomenal position if you can get one of two. I don't think you have to by any means. The season's not over if you lose one of those. But with Texas Tech coming to town, a game you'll likely be favored in on Tuesday, although, man, O'Banner is just a man out there. He showed off last night against Kansas. Kind of feel like they got robbed down the stretch there. A little swallowing of the whistles by the officials.
Shocking.
Against Kansas. I know. It's unbelievable.
Oh,
that
man.
But I don't know. Like, tonight feels more winnable than the TCU game, but, you won at TCU last week too. That's the goal, though, right? You get one of two.
Yeah, I mean, I think because you have that expectation now that you can hold serve at home or at least come pretty close. So then it's anything that you can do on the road is bonus, And if you're going to look at winnable games on the schedule on the road, I think you get two of them right away. Because Oklahoma's playing pretty well. TCU is not playing their best ball right now. I would much rather catch TCU now than in mid-February. I think that team's going to be playing a lot better here in a month than what they are right now. But I think that Iowa State can win this game. I don't know. I can't imagine that the atmosphere will be overly hype at isn't it the Lloyd Noble Center?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I can't imagine that it will be too hype down there. So it won't be even near the same as when they went down to or went out to Iowa City.
Yeah, I feel like this one right here tonight feels like one of the most. You're right too about TCU, but when you pulled up the schedule before we had even seen a game, this felt like one of the more winnable Big 12 road games for Iowa State. All right, I reluctantly picked Iowa State to win. I kind of have a deal with our followers. When I think it's 50-50, I'll always lean with the good guys. I had Iowa State by 2. I'm the type of fan, brutally honest here, the closer we get to kickoff or tip-off of any of my teams, then I convince myself that they are going to lose. So at this point in time, I'm convinced Iowa State will lose the basketball game, where 24 hours ago when I recorded tip-off, I picked a 67-65 win. Where are you at? You're the much more objective host here.
I was going to say, now I need to feel like, just to maintain our journalistic standards, I think I have to pick Oklahoma. But now you flipped your picks, so now it doesn't matter. I'm
basically Kevin McCarthy here.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. No, I think I'd probably pick Oklahoma, but I mean, by 2.
Doesn't it feel like in any of these games, like you should just pick the home team in the Big 12? Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what Bloom and I talked about yesterday, and I looked it all up and found all of the home court records going back to the entire 10-team era, and it's like 70% is the highest that it's ever been.
Yeah,
I would be shocked if it's not 70% again. I mean, I just think it's going to be so difficult to beat these teams in their home arenas.
Well, and the thing too, and I'm going to do some research on this, is and I know Oklahoma and Iowa State are. I would love to see the age of the Big 12 compared to other Power 5 conferences, because it just feels like these teams are so seasoned anymore. Where the league, it used to be, these freshmen, and like now, like everybody's just got all these transfers, and like the teams are just so old. It's a lot more difficult to go in and steal these things.
There's so few freshmen in the Big 12 that you can basically name all of them off the top of your head.
It's hard.
The guys that play, I mean, it's Grady Dick at Kansas, Keontae George at Baylor, and Taman at Iowa State, basically.
Yeah.
And Langston Love at Baylor. I think he's the only, and then maybe Texas has one. I think they do have one. Yeah.
So point taken there. I just think that'd be an interesting stat to look that up. I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult with Ken Palm. All right, enjoy the game. I'll be back afterwards. I'll give you guys my reaction after the game. I'll also talk about the massive commitment today from JT Rock, Iowa State.
Significant.
I mean, they're going to be – you're all but certain now to have 2 top 10 classes in a row.
I mean, I think when you look on paper, that is as big of a recruiting win as any other one that Iowa State has had since TJ got here.
It's massive. To
beat the teams you beat too. That's the biggest thing. To beat out the coaches that you had to beat to get in.
When you look at what Matt Painter's done,
I was going to say. I mean, he's a prototypical Matt Painter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And when Matt Painter picks a big man, if you get an opportunity to get that guy, you need to get him. You know. No
doubt. So I'll talk about that a little bit in post game too, and we'll have a corner 3 for you guys before Saturday rolls around with that road trip to TCU. So thanks to the Iowa Clinic for presenting today's program as always. And he's Jared Stansbury. I'm Chris Williams. Enjoy the game, and we'll talk to you afterwards.